Hello, hello, hello. Well,
Yo,
we are live. What was all the fuss about, lads? What was going on?
Never
boy,
in doubt. Never in doubt.
brother,
Never in
we were
doubt.
always
Yeah,
going to win that game. We were always going to win that
everyone was fully relaxed, yeah?
Yeah.
game. We will get into that.
Oh, mate. Well, firstly, I do want to welcome everyone. If you're wondering where Grizz is at Anfield, so he will not be joining us today, but you will be seeing him on shows upcoming throughout the week. But I am joined by my brothers Fahi and Ish. Comment section, welcome. We need your input. You are the fourth member of this great show today, and I cannot wait to get stuck in the good, the bad, the ugly, the brilliant. There's so much to talk about, but let's start off with just some emotions. Let's get a rain check on how we're feeling. Ish, just a current state of being. What you feeling post game?
I don't get nervous, but I start to get a bit shaky. You know what I mean? I'm all right now. Let me just say I'm all right now. But that first half, that first 45 minutes, boy. But we'll keep it positive. We'll keep it positive. Great win.
Positive vibes,
Great
man.
win.
Positive vibes,
What about you, Fahi?
brother. Listen, that was a game full of emotion, man. Honestly, the first half, the way I was feeling, but you know what? Honestly, the way I was feeling, but you know what it is? This club just takes you on a roller coaster, especially in evening matches, man. Even for some reason, something about when we're under the lights at Anfield, they will take you on a roller coaster. Nothing is ever just simple. There's going to be heart palpitations, ups and downs. And boy, what a game that was.
Yeah, man. And I guess, getting straight into it, this is probably going to be the simplest lineup discussion ever because it was more a matter of what you can choose rather than what you want to choose. So, I mean, looking at that lineup, the only two where there were some choices made was, of course, Konate didn't start, and then who was the other one? There was someone else who was on the bench.
We had Robbo and Simic.
Robbo.
Oh yes, Robbo as well. So those two were the two choices, right? Robbo and Konate. Instead, we had Joe Gomez moving out to left back, and we had Jarrell Kwanzaa coming in. Any reservations in terms of what Klopp went with for you guys?
All we had, bro. So we had left. Like even the left back one, you could say that Gomez has been in pretty good form recently. And you would assume that Robbo was going to start on the Sunday. So that one kind of made sense to me as well. And then it's just like otherwise, centre back as well. You know, you've got to manage Kanate's minutes. He can't play every game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the front six of just lads just go out and try and score. That's kind of it. Because the bench, there was nothing really on there.
Yeah, I mean, 5 players under the age of 20. So definitely not somewhere where we wanted to look if plan A wasn't working. Fahi, anything for you? Obviously, we had a midfield of Endo, McAllister and Gravenberch. We had Elliot, Diaz and Gakpo. Anything you wanted to see tactically if we had very little choice in terms of personnel, at least?
Not really, bro. I think this was just one of those games where you don't really want to overthink it. It's just a case of just grab the 3 points however you can and get out of there because it is what it is, man. We had 13 senior players in that team. So yeah, based off what the 11 was, I wasn't expecting anything too pretty. I wasn't expecting anything simple, but all I wanted was for us to just come out of Anfield with 3 points by hook or by crook.
Yep. That was
How about
it,
you?
Nah, man. I'm just worried that eventually all of these genius decisions and all of this stepping up that all of these players keep doing, at the end of the day, there needs to be a time where no continuity kind of means we stop winning. But this team just don't stop, man. So even if I start doubting them, they don't allow it. So yeah, I guess my emotions were quite neutral at the start in terms of before kickoff. And we got into the extremes straight away, guys, because within seconds, Luis Diaz was in on goal, guys. and I have no idea what he was doing. So, can someone please, in the comments, or one of you two, explain to me how that became Luis Diaz with his back to goal by the time the move was done?
You know what it
Is,
is?
is my mic working? Yeah. Is my mic
Yeah,
working?
God, Ish,
No,
before you
Fahi,
go
you
on,
go first. You go. I
yeah,
want to
Ish,
hear what you're
you do
saying.
your pipe bomb. You do your pipe bomb afterwards. Yeah, I think what it is with Diaz in that situation is he couldn't believe how much space he had in front of him and how no one was near him, and like he was probably just in disbelief. He was thinking how he was going to celebrate after he bags, and then by the time he got to the edge of the box, the ball was behind him. And it was just, I've never seen anything like it. Like, at least crack a shot. He wasn't even able to drag the ball into the box. It was insane.
Wait, he was acting.
Come straight in.
He was acting the way I would act if I was through in on goal at Anfield in the first minute. He got so excited, and brother, he left the ball behind. Luckily, my legal stream that I was watching the game on was slightly behind, so I missed the initial reaction. But the way far he was going in the group chat, I was like, "Nah, it can't be that bad. It can't. There's no way it can be that bad. He must have maybe the wind or something fell in his eye." But
it was bad, man. It was bad.
Let's look. Yeah. We won 4-1, so we'll get the flogging out of the way nice and early. Quick slappings on his head, but. That is anyhow that cost us the game.
Yeah, I mean, what did happen, I guess, throughout that first half was, I guess, trying to turn it into a positive. A lot of us have kind of complained about the fact that Luis Diaz just isn't involved in goal scoring actions or chances. One thing we can't say today was that he was hiding. Whether he was scoring, he was missing. He definitely carried our biggest goal threat in terms of actually being involved. There were a few that flashed past. There was a fantastic little run through the middle that Endo made and then kind of clipped it over. Much tougher finish, obviously, coming over his shoulder. But overall, I thought Luis Diaz was actually present in the game, very much so. And it was not a case of, where is Diaz, which is what we've said before. I guess the only thing that I will say, if I'm going to be honest, was 1v1, he didn't get past Mengi, sorry, in that first half. He could not. Credit to Mengi, played well, but Luis Diaz gave him nothing to think about. But at least I'm very happy that Luis Diaz, rather than dwelling on trying the same thing again and again, came off the line and chose to just be involved constantly. But we'll get into some other performances as well, because there were good performances within that half. I've touched on them, and I'm sure the comments will want to celebrate this guy. The two boys in the middle, guys, McAllister and Endo, even if the attack wasn't flourishing, the appetite in midfield surely cannot be questioned by those two guys.
Cleaned up, man.
Endo's kind of moving.
Listen. Endo has shut everyone up, and I'm so happy. I think Endo and Mac today, again, fantastic. I think from first half to the second half, they were just very, very good. And yeah, listen, we said it recently on one of our main KopEndFracas podcasts, but Endo is playing to a point where no one is ever discussing the DM position anymore. No one is discussing the need for a number 6.
Fahi, I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking, is this position even one we need to address in the summer?
It's insane. He's doing such a good job, man. Such a good job. I'm so happy for him, because the hate that he was getting at the start of the season was just insane. But yeah,
he's definitely improved though.
What is it you're enjoying about how he's playing, Ish? What is it in particular
on the ball? You mentioned it a second ago, like the Diaz chance, even before the assist, which was like lovely assist. We saw Fabinho do that for Mane against United. It was that kind of level of like just tech on the dink. But the little turn he done before that, I was like, I wasn't familiar with this kind of Endo. I knew he was quite robust. I knew he was weirdly good in the air as well. Had a great aerial duel success at Stuttgart, but I didn't know he had feet like that. I didn't know he was as progressive as he has been in the last 3-4 months. To be fair, even before he went to the Asia Cup, he was levels as well. But I like what I'm seeing. Him and Mac together as a duo. It's given me a little bit of Fabinho Thiago when we were chasing for the quad. When it was just like, as long as we've got those two in midfield, the other
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
They
yeah.
can come in
Like
and
a
do their thing, but
solid base, right?
complement each other very, very nicely. And he's letting McAllister kind of go forward and do his thing as well. We'll speak on McAllister in a sec, but he was getting a lot of hate at points this season. I think unjust. I always said once he gets playing next to like a proper DM or a guy who's comfortable playing in there, he'll be fine. And he's just looking like a unicorn in that midfield, man. He can just do a bit of everything. And like I said, when he signed, baby Gundo, man, that he will be our Gundo the next 4 or 5 years. He'll just be the guy who just does 8 out of 10 every week, whatever role you want to put him in. He is that guy.
Yeah, one thing I've got to say that I absolutely love about how Endo and McAllister play, which is they make a lot of tackles all game. And what you see in a lot of other Premier League teams is that when a midfielder wins the ball in defensive midfield, often they've done their job and they'll either go backwards or sideways. And that's a sensible thing to do. But I always notice with Endo and McAllister, the moment they win the ball, they try and thread it in between lines or going forwards.
Yeah.
And that is, for me, just such a great trait to have, because that whole notion of turning defense into attack, they do it within a second. It's not even 2 passes. It's the next action. So, I mean, Fahi, are you seeing these two as, like Ish has described it, the kind of base for the rest of the season where there's only one other space up for grabs in terms of that midfield?
Oh, 100%. They are our base for our midfield for the rest of the season. Even with all the players back, I would still go with a Mac and Endo base, and then obviously with a Jones next to them or whatever. But yeah, I think for sure, the way I'm planning it in my head would be a Mac and Endo base, and they just work well together. I think Endo is able to clean up shop, and he knows that Mac is next to him if he needs to kind of make use of his tech with the ball and his vision. But Endo has it as well, like Endo has the audacity to make some really cool passes. Like if you watch,
I love the use of the word cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Jurgen Klopp. I was like, what would he say? Like that was cool. Like some of the passes he makes are really, really good, and you wouldn't expect that from a player of his profile, but he does have like the ability and the tenacity to kind of do that.
Yeah, and I guess credit to Endo. One thing that shows he's really comfortable at this level and in this league now is he always opens his body up. He always opens his body up as if the whole pitch is available to pass to, rather than being a defensive midfielder who just faces the man giving him the ball where you can only go backwards. There's always a chance of going forwards. But I mean, Ish, talking about forwards, there was a player who ended up scoring at the end of the game, but I thought had quite a challenging half. But I don't want to be negative about it. I want to talk more about what you think he was finding challenging. Obviously, Harvey Elliott is super talented, but also super young. Congratulations to him for his 100th appearance for the club. But what was it, do you think, that he just wasn't quite getting right in that first half?
A couple of things, to be honest. Like, he, first of all, was not offering threat in behind. I know it's not really his game, but when you've got him and Gakpo both coming to feet, that's why I actually will rate Diaz for the first half. He was actually the only threat in behind. A couple of times Kelleher just went long and he was through and on goal. So I think there's a bit of that. And then there was a period of like midway through the first half where he had 2 chances or 2 misplaced passes in like quite quick succession. And he could kind of tell that the crowd was kind of getting onto him a little bit. So I think after that he was trying a bit too hard. But second half he showed levels. And to be fair, like you said, 100 caps at 20, 21 years old for a club like Liverpool, you've got to pick that up. So thing is with Elliott, like this season off the bench, brilliant. Palace, he's had countless games where he's come on, but I just feel like from the start he's still not quite doing enough. But
what do you think? What do you think changes? What do you think is different between starting a game and coming on? Because some people would argue it's harder to come on and adjust to the pace of a game. What do you think he needs to kind of overcome to hit that next level in terms of being a starter at the club?
I think it's a fact of just being like a natural 10, and he kind of thrives more when the game's open. He can kind of get on a ball. He's very good in the sort of half spaces, pretty much the right-hand side half space where he can kind of cut inside and dink balls into the box. That's kind of very much his game. So I think he thrives off the game being a bit more open and a bit more stretched. But first half, I think we saw the best and worst of him, to be fair, in this game. First half, we saw the worst of him. The second half, definitely came into it and got his goal, man. That was a goal that I think this
comment is an interesting one, though. I feel like the fans' urgency did make him.
Yeah,
And it's not to say that it means that his performance wasn't bad in the first half, but I think the fans' urgency around the ground did make him second guess what he should be doing or overhit a pass or whatever, because they were just really like going for it, which is great. Like, we can't complain that Anfield is too quiet sometimes and then complain that they're too raucous. Yeah, exactly. Like, it is what it is. It just took a bit of time. And obviously Klopp, like, I remember like 35th, 36th minute, he just turned around to the crowd and was like, look, relax. Like, you don't need to get on his back for making a bad decision. And yeah, obviously as the game went on, it was absolutely fun. Once one goal goes in and we're not chasing a game, he uses his brain so much better, and you see the best of Harvey Elliott.
Also, like, he's just like us. He's a fan as well. Like, if I was out there, I know I said it earlier, if I was out there playing and I know that flipping out, this is Klopp's like swan song, real goal down, I'll be doing all sorts of madness, bro. I'll be trying to get it in from 30 yards. Like, so I understand, when I see Elliott's deficiencies, that like, it does make sense, because I'm like, I understand that he wants it more than a lot of the other players. He doesn't have maybe the capacity to just have a cool head at times, but he and I think Klopp was right to probably get onto the fans as well, because after the first misplayed pass, it was kind of every time he done it, it was very much like it was audible around the ground that they were getting like a bit frustrated with him. So listen, another genius move from Klopp as well.
Yeah, man. And I guess in terms of that first half, I'm just thinking of who else really shone. I think Liverpool's approach was good. I guess we should talk about the goal. I'd love to know in the comments, in terms of Luton's goal, what you thought in terms of, was there anyone at fault? Was there anything we could have done a bit better? I mean, a lot of eyes will be on Kelleher, of course, and Kelleher's going to probably be playing in the final as well. Outside of Kelleher doing better with his feet, Fahy, did you notice anything that Liverpool didn't manage too well in terms of the goal?
No, I think just in general, bro, when you concede a goal, you will always be able to pick faults at what happened. You will always be able to say, "Oh, well, Gomez should have been on him." Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to do that. Ultimately, it is what it is. I've said a lot about Kelleher in the past. I think just in general, it wasn't a great save. I don't think his positioning was great, but whatever, this happens. Ali does that sometimes as well. It happened, and it caught our defense off guard, because you're thinking, oh, you know what, that is going to get saved, or he's got it covered. And obviously, it just bobbled under him and went over, which is unlucky. And then obviously, Luton grabbed a goal. If you want to be really, really like precious about what went wrong, you could obviously look at Gomez straight away and be like, oh, well, you should have been watching your man better. But I want to keep
a few of the guys in the comments are talking about Kwanzaa, interestingly, saying he kind of lost a bit of focus and started following his man out of the box. Interesting.
Yeah, and again, we can always do this, but 9 times out of 10 when we play, defenders will actually do similar things, but because we get away with it, no one really picks up on it. But because we conceded the goal, obviously we're picking up on it and be like, oh, well, Kwanzaa should have done this, Gomez should have done that. Ultimately, it was just a brain fart moment. Luton did what they had to do, and they deserved that goal, because when they did attack us, they were looking threatening.
Yeah. And I thought, unsurprisingly, Ross Barkley had a really good first half. But all in all, I think that sums up the first half. And the second half was where all the drama began, and Liverpool responded. I'm really interested to know, what do you think was the main difference between how we approached the second half versus how we approached that first half?
Mainly the forwards, really. The forwards just kind of got their act together. Like, I don't actually think there was too much difference in the performance. Like, first off, we created clear-cut chances. It wasn't like we were knocking on the door and we couldn't break Luton down. Like, I don't even think Luton defended that well. A lot of the time, you could get through them with 1 or 2 passes. I just think second half, brother, I don't know what Klopp is saying to these guys at halftime. Like, it must just be a guilt tripping. Like, guys, I'm literally leaving in about 3 months. Can you please just get your act together? Because
I want to let you know, Ish, what Klopp said. Klopp has come out with a quote. Yeah, he's just come out with it, and he said, "I told my team a few months ago I would never use the Barcelona game as an example, but tonight I broke my promise." So,
but Luton at home, I love it. I love it. But we joked, but
guilt tripping
that game, this result feels as big as Barcelona. Like, I'm not even capping. Like, if we would have dropped points tonight, it would have probably derailed us going into the final, especially in the fan base. Like 3 points tonight, absolutely crucial. So I'm happy to celebrate tonight as I did with Barcelona. That's how the crowd were as well. So big up everyone that was in the stadium tonight because they really turned up second half, and well, to be honest, first half as well.
And I mean, we're talking about the start of that second half. I want to big up a player that I thought was not just bursting with energy, but bursting with quality, especially in the start of that second half. And that is Connor Bradley. He shifts into the middle.
Love the kid, man.
Shifts into the middle, fantastic. Shifts into number 10 positions, fantastic. Out wide, fantastic. 1-2s, turns on the ball, knows when to slow it down, knows when to speed up, knows when to runs in behind. This kid, I think people will be afraid to say how good he is because of how young he is. But if this is just the player we have, he does not need to improve to be a top player. He just needs to be this to be a really high level. Surely.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Bro, he's fantastic, man. Every single game he has played for us this season, he has been a joy to watch. An absolute joy to watch. And we thought we were spoiled by Trent on the right-hand side. Fucking hell, we're being spoiled by fucking Connor Bradley as well, man. Like, top. The performances are top. He's full of energy. He's always wanting the ball. He's always trying to make things happen.
And it's not patronizing top, is it, Fahi?
No,
it's like genuine quality.
No.
He's actually
he's genuine quality, man. Honestly, he's so good. Like and this is a really good comment. The fact that he was taken off to be rested for the final says everything. It's like his performances are so good, and I don't worry at all when he's playing. When I see his name, and he's our third choice right back, guys. And the fact I see his name in our 11, and I'm happy. I'm like, yes, Bradley's gonna have another go. I love it, man. And the other thing about him, yes, we can see how good he is with the ball. We can see how he joins up play well. But defensively, he's got tenacity. He goes for it. He wins quite a lot of ground duels, man. Like, he's alert. He knows what he's doing. He got caught out once tonight. But even then, that was just a good counter by Luton. Yeah. And that could be a bit of fatigue as well. But just in general, man, another fantastic performance. Someone said it here, maturity beyond his years, Robbo right back. What I would say to that is he's not a give and go kind of right back. He has so much more intelligence, and that's not me trying to disrespect Robbo. He just has so much more to him.
Yeah. The amount he drops into midfield just says it all, right, about understanding the game. And I guess on the other side, because I was listening to, again, my legal stream as well with the commentary going on, and a lot was being made of
legal streams here, man.
Yeah. A lot was being made also of Joe Gomez, who had a really good second half as well, because it's almost like he started driving forwards, and I felt that with him driving forwards, he would attract people to the ball and then give it to Diaz, where he had more space. And that surely made a big difference in the situations Diaz found himself in.
Again, he's another player who's technically quite underrated, I think. Like, we've seen videos of him slapping free kicks, top bins. This whole thing of him not scoring a goal, I think, kind of makes people think that he's not a very technical player. But I've always had a lot of time for Joe Gomez on the ball, and you're right. Like, him releasing it to Diaz at the right time in the second half definitely helped as well. Then we saw him go over to right back. Like, he's another player this season. We absolutely, if we do anything this season, we have to pick him up because he's played 3 different positions for us. Like, he's really stepped up considering where he was last season as well. I think a lot of us would have thought, I don't know if he's got a long future left, or I don't know if he'll ever get to the 1920 levels again. But again, he's put in a big performance, and I think he probably won't start on Sunday. I reckon Robbo will start left back, Bradley right back, but he'll be unlucky. He'll be unlucky not to. I think he's a guy that he definitely deserves like big plaudits no matter what happens this season.
Yeah, I think that England squad call up, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be horrified. But anyway, we'll continue without that. I think another player we should talk about, the comments making sure we do, and I do want to bring him up because I've been very happy to criticize when he doesn't do things right. Ryan Gravenberch, we talk a lot about, is his intensity good? Is his passing good? One thing I loved about Ryan Gravenberch today, The midfield battle, he was present. When there were two Liverpool players trying to make a tackle, he was one of them. If he accidentally lost the ball, you'd see him slide tackle. You'd see him dive in. So today, I would argue you saw less of the magical feat to beat a player or two, but you saw a lot more of a responsible player tactically. What do you think was the difference in seeing this type of Gravenberch rather than someone who fleets in and out of the game, Fahy?
I think the difference today was he was actually focusing more on off the ball movements. And again, yes, we know he has quality with possession, but today wasn't a focus on that. It was more he was having to do a lot of work behind the scenes, and he was doing his job. He was grafting, and I think that's one of the main complaints a lot of us have had with Ryan Gravenberch. But today and tonight, he wasn't hiding at all. He was doing his most. He was winning ground duels. He made 10 defensive actions. I don't know any other game where he's done that. So that kind of says it all.
Well, the last time defensive actions came up, he lost all 12 of them the last time we talked about it. So what a fantastic turnaround for Ryan Gravenberch. So, Ish, do you think this is a much better platform now? Because I do want to also praise the fact that his cameo against Brentford carried the ball well, won fouls. You're starting to see a player now who is adding to the team and is also a reliable squad member, which is what we all want, right?
He's lucky in a way. He's got the perfect kind of example for a trajectory to look at in Curtis Jones. When Curtis Jones came into the team, we were all like, yeah, good on the ball, off the ball, bit of a passenger. Curtis had to kind of learn that part of his game first before you earn the right to come into the team and then be the one who's going to get given the ball more than other guys in midfield because you can be trusted with it. But I feel like Gravenberch, he's kind of gone back to basics. And listen, like to be in a clock midfield, you need to off the ball is almost as important, if not more, than what you do with it. So I think he's hopefully slowly starting to kind of rein in on him now, and he's going to learn. But yeah, last two games, I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing, and we're going to need him for the next couple of weeks. So he needs to build on this, to be honest.
Whether he likes it or not, he's going to be a key player, right? So, in terms of the goals, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into them. Guys, there are headers, and then there are emphatic headers, and then there are season-defining headers. That just the way that ball went in felt like it. Fahy, exactly that. I don't use this word too often, but that was an aura header, guys. Surely. Surely.
Yeah.
Talk to
Captain's goal.
That is a look, we're in the mud. I'm going to get us back in it kind of goal. The way he just went for that and fucking cleaned out everyone and scored. It was just beautiful. And that's exactly what we need from our captain when we're down. When we are down and out, we need someone to grab the game by its horns, man. Do something. And he did it. And he's a defender. Ultimately, he's a defender. So how can he impact the game? He can impact the game by leading, and he can impact the game by leading by example as well. Great example is the set piece. Set piece comes in, he's winning that header. He won it for us, and ultimately that goal changed everything. The moment that goal went in, the first goal goes in, we knew it was all good. And then within a couple of minutes, we scored again.
What was your reaction, Ish? Because Virgil's normally a cool, calm customer, but even he almost let out a bit of nervous energy there. What was your reaction when that ball went in?
Just relief, man. Just relief. I don't know if that set piece doesn't go in if we then get the others. I think that kind of made the floodgates open a little bit. You saw Luton's heads kind of drop, but it's just the captain's goal. And it's weird. We were saying on the main pod last night that a guy of his sort of aerial dominance should be getting more goals for us, and then lo and behold pops up with one. But I also want to big him up for the other side of it as well. I saw that he's gone 4 games in a row without losing a single aerial duel. Like this guy, yeah,
the mad stat.
Put respect on this. This is an all-timer. I don't care about longevity. I don't care about how many titles he's got. When we're talking quality, this guy is a Prem all-timer, and I think you said it, Mosh, like that was a season-defining header. We might look back on that goal at the end of the season and be like, this is the captain really stood up. But this is just what you want from him. Last season, we were all kind of questioning his leadership. Come back this season, not one single question. No one can question who the leader is in this team. Like, He's that guy, man. He's that guy for us.
And just to read out the stat itself, yeah. So he's now played 4 consecutive Premier League games without losing a single aerial duel. He won 6 out of 6 versus Arsenal. He won 6 out of 6 versus Burnley, 2 out of 2 versus Brentford, 7 out of 7 versus Luton. That's all we want from our GOAT, man. And he's showing why we love him so much.
Oh, I get like I well up when I think about how good Virgil van Dijk is. So that is the captain doing his thing, and lo and behold, the entire team wakes up straight away. And a man who records his second assists, now playing a bit more advanced, a volleyed cross, and I mean perfectly onto Cody Gakpo's forehead, Alexis McAllister. Guys, Cody Gakpo, I personally felt Cody Gakpo had the biggest difference between importance in first half versus importance in second half. Because first half, he was completely not involved. I was getting frustrated by the runs he was making. Second half, it was like watching Didier Drogba for Marseille. Back to goal, bullying people, running in channels, making play. I could not believe the difference in the two players. I mean, Cody Gakpo, guys, is this a player that we're just too impatient with, who actually, if you look at the numbers, has contributed to this season?
No, he's totally contributed for sure. I think the thing is, we just know he's got the ability. No one doubts the ability that he actually has. I think it's more just it's just more we want him to do a bit more. Like we want him to be more active. But not every forward can do what Darwin Núñez does, man. Not every forward is going to aimlessly run about and bother absolutely everyone. Like Gakpo is more of an intelligent forward. And again, tonight showed that. The main thing with tonight's performance, I do want to highlight, is the amount of shots he took. Like one criticism I always have with Gakpo is that he will start a game and his presence as a forward isn't really there because he's, in the mix of doing different things. And then that doesn't allow him to try and impact and change the game because he's never allowed to kind of shoot, or he's never in opportunities to kind of take a shot. Tonight, he was really going for it. He found himself in loads of opportunities to try and crack shots. And he obviously got his goal as well, which was a fantastic header.
Yeah, I think Magpie 96 makes a really good point, which is no other team in the world has a fifth choice forward at Gakpo's level. I think that's indisputable. Surely we've got a forward in Gakpo who might record 15 to 20 goals this season, and he's really that low down in the pecking order. And I guess with Gakpo, one thing I really, really like about him is that Gakpo grows with the energy of the crowd. I always find if you look at some of the big moments we've had this season, like the Fulham game, again, didn't impact the game too well. Suddenly, crowd gets louder. He's taking more shots. He's running around more. Do you guys feel that Gakpo's more suited? I know Grizz weekly says about he wants to see him on the left, but we've seen now Gakpo against Brentford win some flick-ons which have created assists. Do you guys prefer seeing him up front now, or do you still want to see the left side experiment?
He's a player that can kind of give you a similar level wherever you put him. That's the thing. He's a victim of his own sort of versatility. So, like, I do want to see him on the left, but I also feel like I don't think we're going to see that much more an improvement from him than we do down the middle. Like, he's just a player of quality. Whether he's on the left or through the middle, I think he can get goals for us. I'd say after Jota and Salah, you'd say he's probably definitely a better finisher than Diaz. Might be a better finisher than Núñez as well. If you're talking about just on like in front of goal, being composed. So he has got quality. I just want to see him have that same energy he had in the second half from the start a bit more, and not starts games as slowly as he does. That's all I want from him. I don't really want him to up his levels in terms of quality. Like, I think he's definitely a quality player, but it's just the application. I think deep down I'm a bit of a passion merchant. I do want to see a player like run about a little bit, kind of smash the badge a bit more. So sometimes I just want to see it. I want to give him a little shake. But in terms of like his actual quality, Gakpo's calm, man. Very good on the ball. Lovely shot on him. And we saw against, like, he's decent in the air as well. Gets headers as well. So I think he's kind of an all-rounder, but he will always be a victim of not being able to nail down the spot because we know he can kind of do it all for us. We've even seen him in the 8 as well. So he'll just be a good squad player, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And again, like you said, we play 4 cups in a season, right? So there's 60 games to choose from. You're going to play 25 to 30 regardless. So I think Cody Gakpo is going to see that. Plays the last 20 minutes of almost every game. Let's talk about a few of the chances before we talk about, Diaz's goal. There was one where Conor Bradley made a great run through the middle of the pitch, laid
I
it
thought
on.
that was going in.
Same. I screamed, and
I thought, it's going in.
Yeah, it was just, one of the Luton defenders got in the way. Is there anything better Diaz could have done? I don't really think so. I think he's got to get it on target, right? Like,
that's what I thought. We might just not win the game. I was like, we might not win this because that was a goal. By all intents and purposes, that should have gone in. Diaz couldn't have done much more.
You would want every forward to do what Diaz did there. Like the finish that he was trying to
don't
apply
take a touch, just hit it.
Don't take it, just try and slot it in the bottom right corner. Like he was trying to do the right thing. Oh, the Luton defender came out of nowhere. Like I wasn't even seeing him on the pitch. I thought, where's he come from? He literally just out of nowhere, freeze frame, bang. And it was really unlucky.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't have to wait long, right? Because one thing, I was actually shocked the second one went in because he did it in such an elegant motion where like the ball just flew past the keeper. The keeper was kind of frozen. It was a really nice bit of feet. Who had the ball before Diaz took it for his goal? Was it Gomez? I'm trying to think who kind of drove with the ball. Remember. I don't know if Gomez
scored so many goals.
I'd be interested to know in the comments if you could tell us who was it who gave the ball to Diaz. But one thing I liked about Diaz at that moment, he didn't stop. He didn't freeze. He kind of in the motion sold him a jink and went the other way. Yeah. So Charles is saying it was Robbo who was the one who was actually giving it to him. Nice for Robbo to get on the assist charts as well. What do we think that goal?
He's gone level again. It's got level again with Trent on the.
In the all-time Premier League defender. What do you guys think of what that does, Ish, for Diaz? Because, like we said, he's gonna have to be a key player, right? There's no rotating Diaz out this team. No one else is available. So, do you think Diaz can use this now as a platform to? I mean, he got the assist against Brentford as well. So we're seeing some regular goal contributions. Do you think there's enough to become almost a leader in this attack?
Well, yeah, like you said, he's gonna have to really. There is no choice for the next few games. He's gonna have to kind of stand up. And to be honest, to his credit, what we've always said about him is that he does lack end product and output, and he's given us that. The performances might not be to the level that we want right now, but if he's leaving with a goal and assist most games, this is kind of crunch some of the season, right? Yeah, it's crunch some of the season. We don't really have time to be hyper analyzing every performance. Like if you're forward, I'll always give you grace if you leave with somewhere at the end of the game. He did it today. The performance wasn't great. He missed a lot of clear chances. If he didn't get a goal, it wouldn't have been great at all, especially if he didn't get a win as well. But we won. He got his goal. You can't really say too much. It's the running now. So you just leave with something at the end of the game. That's all I ask from the forwards. Just make sure goal or assist, make an impact.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. Fahy, we're surely right now in this stretch, it's just a results-based business, right? I'm sure you're not too interested in the underlying numbers or anything like that at the moment.
No, not at all. Listen, you know me already. I'm not a big fan of like looking into stats too much to kind of be like, oh, he should be doing this. Ultimately, just get us a win. Try and get yourself on the score sheet or the assist like kind of sheet, and that's it. Just and don't get injured. Between now and April, we just need to keep on racking up those wins wherever we can in every tournament that we're in, and just see where we're at. And that's all I care about right now. I'm not going to hyper-analyze performances like that. I'm not going to hyper-analyze returns or anything like that. It's just get us the win.
Yeah. And I guess when it comes to contributing, seeing as we're talking about it, really great to see two young boys coming on. We saw McConnell come on and we saw Dan's come on. Interestingly, didn't know both of their fathers also played for Liverpool. Interestingly enough. But I don't know, guys, if you noticed this, but some of Dan's touches were really nice in terms of his layoff. And even the pass he put through to Gakpo for Elliott's goal. I'm not a big academy guy, so I'd love for you in the comments, and I don't know, Ish, Fahy, if you've got any in the know pieces, Is this kid highly rated? Because I saw a lot of
He's highly
understanding.
rated.
Oh, really?
And there's a reason that there's a comparison people keep making with Dan's, and it's Harry Kane. And I think based off what you're just saying and what you saw, you could kind of then see why people make that. And we're not trying to like hang him, give him some rope to hang with that name or that comparison, but people stylistically have compared him to Harry Kane for that reason.
Really? That is so interesting. Has he kind of come through the club, or is he someone we picked up kind of from another club in the latter part of his development?
That is a fantastic question. I'll be honest. I knew about Dan 6 months ago, so that that is what I know. And obviously,
anything you know about him?
I knew about him 6 hours ago. I'll be honest. I wasn't really tapped into it, but from the camera I saw of him tonight, I saw nice touches. I saw someone who's not just like a penalty box striker. He's definitely got link up to his game as well. And I think it's a bit of a weird one. We've had a lot of strikers kind of come through our academy and not quite getting or managed to get into the team. Obviously, for like the last 4 or 5 years, it's been Firmino
since he was 8.
The show. 8. Oh, wow. So yeah, love that. Love that. But yeah, it'll be good to see a striker come through, man. We've not had a striker come through for a long time. I can't even remember the last striker to come through and actually have significant game time for us. So I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what he's about a bit more, but he's definitely one I'll be tapping into.
Yeah, man. And I guess we already saw McConnell in that Cardiff game. Again, I love the whole, like, when it comes to controlling a game, this kid he's so relaxed in how he receives the ball, happy to turn on it. I don't know what's cooking at Melwood, bro. Like, you tell me what's happening.
La Axa.
Oh, yeah. La Axa.
Say it right, bro.
Al-Aqsa, yeah. Well, what's going on?
I don't know, but it's just like I just feel like all the stars are aligning. I feel like Klopp's on his way out, and he's just like, let me just bring through the youths for the next manager, so he can show them what they're about.
Is it that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle meme of like, thing, the sensei in the middle, and
he's bro, it might just be because it's just nice to see. I don't know what it is. It always hits different when it's a player that comes through the academy. He's doing well. Obviously, we've seen Trent do it, Curtis Jones. So it's just nice to see the next crop coming through now. But one thing I like about all of them is that none of them seem like the shirt's too heavy. None of them seem like the lights are too bright. They're coming into some high pressure situations. Like, this is not an easy game to come into at the moment. Like, even though a lot of them are coming on at 3-1, 4-1, it's still a big high pressure game, top of the table. And I can't stress enough, whether you want to or not, we will be relying on these kids for the next few weeks. So long may it continue. But yeah, McConnell specifically tonight when he came on, I like what I saw, man.
Yeah, and I want to shout out Bobby Clark for a moment in the game, about minute 84, 85. So the pressure was on in the corner with Robertson and Van Dijk, and he kind of led a triangle for us to turn out and get to the other side of the pitch. I can categorically say that is difficult to do even when you're 31 years old and maintaining calm. To do that at 18, this kid definitely has and feels like he belongs in the team at this level. So really, really good. A man who, like I said, completely turned what was a complicated first half. The crowd, him, Klopp. Harvey Elliott got his goal, but Fahi, talk to me about that second half performance, because there was a lot more dribbling, a lot more outside of the foot passing. What was it that completely flipped with Harvey Elliott?
I'm really not sure what flipped. It must have been the coaches telling him, look, just relax. You don't need to force it. You've got time. And I think obviously the moment Virgil scored his goal, then he knew, because again, like Ish said, he's a Liverpool fan himself, right? So sometimes he may be playing based off emotion. The moment the Virgil goal came in, everything just calmed down, and it was everything just linked up well. He wasn't driving too quickly and like forcing a pass. He kind of took time to work out, okay, is Gakpo going to make that run to the edge of the box? If not, I'm going to just keep it a little bit longer. And he wasn't just overthinking like it was in the first half. That's all I think it was. And I think that happens sometimes with Harvey. Like, there are times where he's just trying to think and do too much, because he knows he's got the ability with his left foot, right? He can crack a shot, he can assist, he can create chances. And sometimes he feels like it's just on him to do as much as he possibly can, especially when Trent and Salah aren't on the pitch. Szoboszlai is not on the pitch either. He needs to be creating. And I think the first half was kind of what happened to him, and that was a detriment. Second half, the moment Virgil scored, he calmed down. And then the movement, to be honest, if you look at the squad movement in the second half, it was just so much better. Like just in general, the way Bradley was kind of running off him, you had McAllister a little bit more advanced as well. So Elliot was
close to him, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So Elliot was given more to kind of work with rather than kind of just being stuck there and trying to drive into where the rest of the players were. He kind of had players around him that he could work off, and he knew what their movement patterns were going to be. So it just made it so much easier.
Yeah, man. And I think all in all, I guess the only player we haven't talked about, and I want to big him up because it's almost like we're forgetting that this is his debut season as a professional footballer because he's done so well. Jarell Quansah is just comfortable all the time. He will drive the ball out. He went on 3 or 4 runs today where he broke past not just the midfield, but he was basically into the box by the time he'd broken through. This is a kid who people are forgetting is a kid, firstly, sorry. And also he's done so well, people have forgotten about Joel Matip.
Bro, I've not thought about Matip for a minute. And that's no slight on Matip. It's just, like you said, testament to Quansah's quality. But I just can't believe the composure. And I don't want to put too much kind of pressure on his shoulders, but this is the kind of way that Rio Ferdinand was getting spoken about when he came in, when he first broke through. It's just like he's so comfortable and composed and nothing seems to faze him. And for a centre-back, that's probably the one position on the pitch where experience really counts. And you see kind of centre-backs not really coming into their own until like 23, 24. Again, the same way Endo's kind of put to bed or like silenced the DM talk, there wasn't really a massive clamour for us to get centre-back in January, which is what I thought I would be hearing after Matip kind of went down with the ACL. And that's testament to him, obviously testament to Gomez and Khanage being fit and more available. But this guy is our certified 4th choice centre-back. And for Liverpool, that 4th choice centre-back has seen a lot of minutes, like whether that's by rotation or by injuries. And Gomez hasn't even needed to play centre-back much this season. He's been filling in at fullback even more time. So Quansah, I think his ceiling is incredibly high.
I was gonna ask about his ceiling-ish because, like you're saying, I genuinely don't see a weakness in his game. The kid's amazing in the air. He's got the longest limbs I've ever seen in terms of reach and stuff, strides. Everything is amazing. Is there any reason why he won't become the starting pair? Or do you think there's still something he needs to develop in his game?
He maybe athleticism, but I don't know if that's even me being harsh because I'm comparing him to the guys around him who are Khanage, who's an animal, Van Dijk, animal, Joe Gomez, animal. So I don't know if that's even me doing him a disservice. Because again, like you look at Matip was not the most athletic. He relied a lot on his positioning and his kind of his IQ, which I think Quansah's got. He's got that in his game as well. Definitely comfortable on the ball. So in terms of limitations, it's just experience. That's the only thing. You just think sometimes he maybe doesn't quite make the right decision. But that's not his own fault. That's going to come and play more games. So I really don't see why he shouldn't have a top career. I really, really don't. Like, as long as he stays fit and healthy, which obviously we all hope he does, I don't really see how he doesn't have a top career. Because, like I said before, when it's your own coming through, it hits slightly different as well.
Yeah, I mean, Fahy, anything in terms of Jarell Quansah for you that you've observed?
That he needs to improve upon?
Or just in general, things you're liking about his game?
Oh, yeah. There's loads I like about him, man. I love the bravery that he has with possession at his feet. He's not one that, he wants to get rid of the ball straight away. He's more than happy to hold on to it if he needs to. If he doesn't find someone in front of him with ample amount of space, he's like, cool, fair enough. I will keep it a little bit longer, try and drag someone towards me and give you some space.
That as well. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And the other thing that he's really good at, he does read the game very well. Now, obviously, there are brain fart moments like there was for the first goal. But just in general, he does read the game in front of him very, very well. So what he makes up for with his not lack of physicality and like pace he makes like he does it with his, you know, the way he reads the game. So I think those are the two standout points with him. But just in general, again, like Isha said, he's our fourth choice centre back, and again, you see his name on the team sheet, you don't worry.
I don't bat an eyelid. I don't bat an
Bro,
eyelid.
I don't worry, and I love that. I love the fact that I can see Conor Bradley, Kwanzaa on the team sheet, and I'm not scared at all. That just says so much about them and how well they've gelled into the team.
Yeah, man. Look, it was nice. I feel like we've celebrated we've celebrated literally every player that came on and contributed. I guess now we've got about 10 minutes.
Talk.
10 minutes.
Talk the talk.
We need to talk about business because at 3 p.m. on Sunday, guys, it's the first chance for some silverware. Is this a situation where unless Mo and Nunes are playing, then things are going to be very difficult? Or has this lineup given you a bit of confidence? Where are we right now psychologically?
I need at least one of them on the bench.
Yeah,
I need at least one of them on the bench because, like, today we kind of broke the deadlock. Well, they broke the deadlock, but we broke our deadlock with a set piece. You're not guaranteed those are going to go in on the weekend. We need to probably be a bit better in general play from the off. But if we're not, I think just knowing that we've got a Nunes or a Salah on the bench to kind of stretch the game. Listen, it'd be great if one of them could, or both of them could start. But I don't know if do you risk them all for a cup final in the middle of Feb when you've still got 3-4 months to play the season? Probably not. Like especially Salah with a hamstring, you don't want to. If you risk it and God forbid the hamstring tears and the season's done, then it's like probably wasn't worth it in hindsight. So I think. Yeah, I need to see one of them back in the squad at least to give me more confidence. But listen, we've seen Chelsea this season. We slapped them up already a couple of weeks ago. They put in a good performance against City, but I still think we'll win somehow. If it's pens again. But I think we probably just about get a job done.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Fahi, what about your thoughts in terms of approach and what you're seeing with Chelsea? We've seen two very different Chelseas, right? Because Chelsea put in a really good performance against City, got smashed by us, played very well against Villa away. So you'd say that Chelsea are kind of on the way up at the moment. Are you observing anything that's giving you something to worry about?
Yeah, no, I think if you look at the past 4 or 5 games of Chelsea, they are playing much better football. I think their attack is a bit more fluid, and they are creating a load more chances. The only thing with them is they don't have a finisher, and that is ultimately what their downfall is this season because they create chances, they just can't finish. So I think that's what we need to be a bit wary about. Obviously, the issue is we've got a bunch of injuries, but they've also got a bunch of injuries. The difference being is they've got a squad of 40, so they can always manage these. They can manage these injuries, whereas we don't have that. So yeah, in terms of approach for Sunday, like I said, bro, just come out of there with a win by hook or by crook. And I think it is key, like Ish said, that one of Salah or Nunes is on the bench. I would hope that, by having a week's rest, one of them can definitely make it on the bench. And obviously, with what Klopp has been saying, with them assessing it day by day, he's not exactly ruled them out. So, whereas he's ruled out everyone else, he didn't rule out Salah and Nunes. So my hope is that one of them can be on the bench. And again, like if we have to go with the 11 that we went with today, we go with that. But then just knowing that a Salah is there or a Nunes is there will make Poch think as well, like, oh God, what do I do next? Because those two can come on.
Yeah, and I guess in terms of thinking about Poch and where he might be looking at an area to target, what do you think, Ish, in terms of a vulnerability that Poch might suspect that he should focus his team around? What area do you think he's going to be looking to get some wins?
What, a weakness for us or for them?
For us, as in what is a weakness in us that he might observe?
I think our high line, like we've seen actually Chelsea get a lot of joy in what we saw first of all the Spurs game this season with 9 men. All their goals kind of came from just balls over the top, and again against City on the weekend just gone, they were getting in behind quite a lot with Sterling and Jackson. Our high line isn't as much of a concern as it was last year, but I do think on that big Wembley pitch, they probably will get a few chances in behind. The one thing really that I think will save us is that Kelleher was very proactive off his line tonight, which I've noticed recently. Allison is as well, but Kelleher takes it to a next level. There was times when he was actually fully in the back four, popping it about. I was like, who's this guy in black just passing the ball about? So, and his distribution is very, very good as well. It is to a high level as well. So I think that ball over the top for Chelsea is definitely a threat. But again, I don't want to jinx anything, but we've seen how Jackson finishes. Like, we can probably afford to give them maybe one or two of those. But I do hope that in the game, if it happens early on, we kind of sort our shit out a little bit. But for me, that's the main issue. I expect us to kind of not dominate everywhere else because we've got injury problems. But I don't really think that even with our injuries, I don't think Chelsea are like, there's not going to be that much difference in quality. It's just going to be how it's done in both boxes. So yeah, we need to be mindful because Jackson, Sterling, whether they play Mudryk or Cole Palmer or whoever, like, they have got a threat there, but we've just seen that their main problem is finishing. But they can cause us problems.
Yeah, I hear you. And I guess, Fahi, reversing that question, what areas, if you were to assume that the lineup that started today is the lineup that's going to start in the final, what areas and players with Chelsea do you think we will get joy out of? I've already got one in mind, but I'd like to know what you think.
Who could we get joy out of? I would say it's down the left-hand side, as in like their left-hand side. So our right side, I feel like, could get a lot of joy. I think Bradley could definitely, and again, it means that, you know how we approached the second half with what Mac, Elliott, and Bradley were doing, where they were close to each other, creating triangles and stuff. It needs to be something like that. But I think we can really do over Chilwell because he's not seemed 100% since he's been back. So that would be my target. But I do rate Chilwell as a player.
Well.
Tell me more.
Yeah. That was my area because I think Chilwell has been horrific since he's come back. Like, genuinely, he's been rubbish. And then Levi Colwill is not the best mover. So I'm thinking what you observed, Fahi, in that second half of Liverpool kind of bringing the play to that area, not just giving it to Harvey Elliott and Harvey Elliott having to work with 30 yards of space. That's not Harvey Elliott's game. Get McAllister around him, get Gakpo to start drifting into that channel. And I think we do get in. And from what Ish observed with Diaz as well, if a lot of our players in that leftish side, as long as Diaz keeps making them runs in behind, any balls that are going to be flashed across, Diaz should be part of that kind of play. So yeah, I'm with you guys, man. I don't think Chelsea are great. I think the comments have made a great point, and I can almost guarantee that Endo will eat Enzo Fernandez alive if he just plays how he has been playing. Like, there's no way this version of Enzo Fernandez can survive that level of pestering, surely. What do you guys think of? I mean, that midfield battle is going to be key. Chelsea have pumped money into it, if nothing else. Do you still think Liverpool have it to still overcome that challenge, even though they're expensive players?
Yeah, I'm even looking at, you mentioned Endo and Enzo. I'm even looking at Caicedo and McAllister, former teammates.
Oh, yeah.
Caicedo,
realize that.
Brother, he was trying to get sent off in that Chelsea game as well. He's looking mad rash this season, very easily rattled. I do think our crowd are going to be onto him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Rightly or wrongly. I think he's a guy he's got a bozo moment in him. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup as well. But I don't want to downplay Chelsea at all, but I just look at that midfield, and I think even with our injuries, I expect us to get the better of them in there. As long as we kind of turn up with the right attitude and application, I do think McAllister against Caicedo, Endo versus Enzo, like, I fancy our chances with those matchups.
Yeah, I guess the interesting one are the two young boys in midfield, right? Because it's going to be basically the remaining two are Cole Palmer up against Ryan Gravenberch. Fahi, this is a chance for Ryan Gravenberch to completely listen. Sometimes an entire season and your perception of a season is flipped on a game, right? He might have a fantastic game that almost changes his trajectory right now at Liverpool, surely.
I mean, to be fair, bro, the past 2 games he's had good games. Versus Brentford, he was good, and I think that gave him the confidence for his performance tonight. And I think
Mm.
tonight's performance will hopefully roll over to Sunday, and he'll have another great performance. So yeah, his God willing, he does have another great performance. And yeah, like you said, all it takes is a few games, and it
Yeah.
really sets your season up.
Yeah, man. So I guess I don't want to deliberate too much on a game that we don't know yet. We don't know who's going to be available. I do want to thank everyone in the comments because it looks like everyone was super proud of the team. We are proud of the team. We move on. And hopefully, the next time we speak, we will all be speaking with a medal around our necks and Klopp celebrating the first of his final few trophies at the club. So I've been Mush. Ish, any final thoughts from you?
Listen, Sunday we get the job done. Tonight we got the job done. There's a league to be won. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
Couldn't agree more. Fahi, some parting words from you?
I'm just happy that we obviously won and Arsenal lost, because I'm about to now jump off here, go on Twitter, and absolutely rinse Arsenal. So please follow me on FIFA FoFarm. Follow Talking Too Mush, Degeneration Ish. We're gonna have some fun.
That's it, man. Guys, thank you very much. Everyone, take care and up the Reds.